Hello everyone and welcome to the Refresh Step, where you recover yourself for the main step. I'm your host for today, tomorrow, and the foreseeable future, Theodore LU. And I'm with hottest battler in the UK and admin of the Battle Spirits English Wiki, Ayumu Seiki. So yeah, Ayumu, how are you doing?
I'm sick.
Oh no, like literally sick. Or are you sick of it?
I mean, I might have got COVID, but the self test that like the British use are pretty crap. Like, first of all, it doesn't always work. Like every time I do a test, I need to do like at least twice to make sure that it's working properly. And then even if it does work, like I never got a. I mean, maybe I was just being lucky, but I never got positive from any of those tests. So even though I got symptoms, so yeah, I don't really trust those things. It's literally just what's the word?
Precaution? Not really, right?
Something like that. Well, not precaution. Whatever. But like it's just like something that like after you take it and then you just show it to your friends. Hey, look, it says I'm safe. Let's go to a pub.
Nice. But yeah, I can understand that because I also tried that last time, right? Because previously the quick test, like it was basically covered by the German government, but now there's like I saw like it is basically decided by the city government, and my city charges like €9 for that. So it's like, oh no, I cannot afford that.
Yeah, it costs like 60, 70 pounds to do like a PCR test here. So it's like,
oh no,
I guess I'll just die in my bed then.
oh my goodness. Oh well, but yeah, speaking of COVID, like yeah, after COVID finally calms down, now that everything is calming down, I think we see that lots of events are finally coming back. I just got back from Gamescom actually.
Nice.
It's like yeah, they said it's the biggest game trade fair in at least Europe. I forgot what they claim it to be. I am not a good customer, but yeah, you know the funny thing about Gamescom is
what is it?
like I saw their website and then it's like they have all these informations like where the event is, how you can get there, like how if you take a plane or you take a train from other country, how you can get to Gamescom. I have all this information, like which airport I should go to, which station I should go to, except like where the Gamescom is, like where's the like where's the main build? I don't know the address of the main building. That is the only problem.
Bruh. Yeah, like somehow they're just like being really slopey and like all kinds of things. Like I guess it's not just a British thing then, because like even for us, when we first when we like came to like England for like the first few times, like our friends would just tell us like like the British people, they do things much slower here, like rather than like your busy bees in Hong Kong, just like running around all the time. They do things much slower here. So yeah, just like don't like try to rush too much things. And like I was thinking like, okay, just slow is fine. But no, they're not just being slow, they're also being very sloppy. Like 2 days ago, I was trying to make a house viewing, and so like I told this guy like okay, so right, I want to check out this house in this place. And then he was like, okay, yeah, sure, 250. I said, yeah, sure, 250. And then we hung up. And I went to that place at 250, and I realized he forgot to tell me the house number. And the place is like those kinds that like one village, and then like you got all those houses sticking together. It's like one project. Like those houses are built in one project, so like in the same area. So I literally walk around the whole place for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then I finally saw like the guy in business suit just like with his bicycle helmet just outside the door. It's like there he was. Yeah,
finally. Yeah, I think like in Europe it's either 0 or 100. Like at least in Asia, I think we can know that if the surface is sloppy, they are always like 60 or 70. But in Europe, it's like the difference between 10 and 90.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Well, oh well.
Yeah. speaking of sloppy services, I am also glad that it is finally the end of August. Yeah, I don't really want to time our episodes since we don't know when we can record, but yeah, it is important because at the end of August, it also marks the end of the €9 ticket program in Germany. That has been a
What
nightmare.
program?
€9 ticket.
What's that?
So their program is because currently, because of obvious reasons, gas prices is increasing. The government wanted to encourage us to take the trains instead. So
Fair enough.
to do that, they make this program in which you can pay for this ticket. So it's €9 per ticket.
Oh, okay.
And it is eligible for 1 whole month in which you bought them. So not 30 days, but the whole month. So like if you buy the one for July, then it is valid from 1 July to 30th July.
31st.
31st July, yeah. And then so if you buy it from like 29th of July, then it is only valid until 31st of July.
That's like a scam.
Yeah. And then
you have to plan really early. That's the thing. Yeah.
yes. But the problem is this ticket that is valid for 1 month, you can use it for all non-express trains all across Germany.
I mean, that's pretty good. Sounds like.
Yeah, that is the deal. In which way, it's like too many people, like probably also beyond the prediction of the government is using it. But the problem is it's not really reducing the number of people who uses cars. So it basically increases the number of people who uses trains, but not really reduces the number of people who uses cars.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks to that, I think the problem is the train company is not ready. So the train is always at overcapacity. It breaks more often, and also everything is late. Lots of trains are being cancelled, and the stations are really crowded. So yeah, thank goodness with the end of the €9 ticket. Yeah. Hopefully
In
this
Hong
will
Kong,
go.
we had this thing. I'm not sure if they're still doing it now, but like they encourage citizens to like take more public transport, which are, when I mean public transport, I mean like buses and minibuses. And so they increase the schedule for like the buses so that like, you know, more people can actually take the buses instead of like lining up for like 20 minutes for one or something like that. And I think that did improve a few things. And people were also very willing to do that actually, because Hong Kong is already crowded as it is. So like they can like reduce the amount of like private cars on the road. That's even better. Like literally like every weekday, like Monday to Friday, you got like those peak hours, which is like either in the morning, like 7 to 9 a.m. or like in the evening when people are leaving the work, which is like 6 to 7 p.m. It's always there will always be traffic jams in the exact same locations. And like my mom having to travel between two islands, like I said, two islands, but it's not really that far away from each other, but they do have to go through like an undersea tunnel. So like ever since I was born, literally, I always had to wait for my mom to come back home at like 7 p.m. or something like that, because like she was stuck in the tunnel in a traffic jam, and she had to sit for like an hour, even more, on the bus. Which was really crazy. Yeah. It's not really a thing that you would see in like Europe and other places. But like it's certainly pretty common in Asia. I don't think it's just Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think when I was in Jakarta, it's also like that. It's like it is as if there is a schedule. Like if the schedule is reached, so it's like if traffic jam schedule is like from 5 to 7 p.m. Even if the road is completely empty at 4:59, at 5:00, suddenly like thousands of motorcycles will just appear out of nowhere, and then no matter how full the road is, at like 7:01, they will all disappear.
What the heck? It was.
Yeah, it's like magic.
It's like the motorbike. It's just like wait. Okay, now.
Exactly right. Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
No wonder they say it, like when people in the West, like they say Asia is always like this mystical land. That is the probably the only magic that is left in Asia.
Well, I mean, I would say there's another kind of magic. Like, have you heard that in Vietnam? Like, if you like, even though like the roads are like cramped with like cars and everything, just like moving really quickly. If you try to walk out onto the road, you're actually not very likely to get a car accident. They can, like the people can literally just dodge you so naturally. Like it's like it's not how you drop like a marble into like a cup of water. This is what happens when you walk through the road in Vietnam. Like they can just like dodge you so naturally. And then my dad tried that before. Like he was having a conference in Vietnam, and he was like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna walk out the road, and he did, and he crossed the road, no problem. Yeah, sometimes the synergy, like sometimes like human synergy is like very fascinating, in, like the weirdest ways.
That is the true magic. Back in the events, so especially with the TCG events, we do have like sort of expectation. I think, especially when the event is larger.
Yeah.
I think for me, standard is kind of set like by my first Vanguard National.
Okay.
I am not sure if it's like the really first one. I think it's not the first one. It's the first ever Vanguard National in Indonesia is held in Animal Festival Asia. So it is actually pretty cool, but not as special as the next one. I think it's the first one for English. Yeah, and now I'm not really sure, but they do it in this one mall and then in this one atrium, and then they do like all this smoke thing during the opening, and then the hall is like dark. It's like it feels like esport, like like the opening of esport tournaments. It feels kind of like that, and then it kind of ruined other like all following events after that.
I've never really watched esports. What do they do in the openings?
I don't really watch too much either, but the image that I have in mind, thanks to this first tournament, is basically during the opening they will like the room is really dim, right? And then they just like highlight the stage with like blue or red light or basically like other colored lights, and then they do all this smoke, like they put out all this smoke, and the MC just came out and then, hello everyone, are you ready for Carbide Vanguard? Kind of thing.
Oh, right, like that. Sounds very phenomenal.
I know,
I don't
right?
think I've ever seen any of that in person.
I know, right? It's like probably visually, like it's the best card game tournaments I have ever joined in my life.
And did you win?
That's the only problem. At least my friend win. At least my friend win. Like even if
Okay.
like all of us didn't win, it's like okay.
Okay. Yeah, like I rarely go to any kind of events, mainly because basically my parents didn't allow me to because I was too small. So like the first time I went to any kind of events was, of course, a Battle Spirits one, because why the heck not? And that was when I was around 13 years old. Because I was about to move school, which is basically moving to another country. So my mom was like, okay, fine. You can go to the events and like stuff like that. And then so like, yeah, my first one was like Battle Spirits Gunslinger, if I remember it right. And it was during Sword Ice era. So to put it on the timeline, it's probably around like 8 years ago. Well, from when this is recorded.
Yeah.
I wonder when will you put this on, Theo? Maybe probably like a year later or something like that. But anyway, but yeah. So and that was my first event, and well, frankly, I got butchered in a lot of ways because that was like my first time actually like seeing the outside Battle Spirits community, and I just like, and then my decks were just not on par at all. Like, have you heard of Godwolf Tempest? You probably haven't because nobody played that thing. But that was the key card in my deck. So you could imagine how bad I was in the game. I literally got ended by a middle-aged guy who literally just summoned Truth Eden and then threw like 12 swords out and just spammed me to death. It's like freaking hell, money guy. But yeah. But I suppose the worst thing was that if you still remember Dark Tyrannosaurus, like the Rush deck, I decided for whatever reason to trade away the Dark Blade for the cost 9 Ruined Dragon card. I can't remember his name.
Like
Return
it's
the
before
Season.
Judgment Dragon is
It's not dragon. It's
like the Flash Emperor Dragon.
Yeah, that thing. You know,
Yeah, that thing.
which
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And
I have a picture in my head.
yeah, just make sure you throw the image out when you put this on YouTube. But yeah, I
Okay.
decided to trade Darkblade with that thing. But that card is useless because I lost the sword. That was my first event
Mhm.
of my life. But like just like generally everything in anime convention, it's just overpriced. So like you pay $20 for the vibes. That's literally it.
Exactly. I mean, like, it is always physical, right? But like when the time for the national tournament comes and then you come there, the vibe is always different. Like I still can't really get off the nervousness when I sit in the tournament table. It's
I
like
mean, that's fair. Yeah, you really have to go to a lot of tournaments to get used to that. It just came to me naturally, but I suppose it also took me a while to actually get used to tournaments and like have fun in them and stuff like that.
because when you go to tournaments, it becomes a serious soap period. Of course, you are having fun, but you are having fun because you have the vibe like where you converse with your friends before the tournament, and because you play seriously during the tournament, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And then you go to lunch
yeah.
to dinner with your friends after the bird.
I don't have friends.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's about the same for everywhere else. But like in Hong Kong, they do shop tournaments, like depending on which shop, obviously. But if you just count overall, you basically can go to a shop tournament every day. So like they always do that at night, just around after dinner, because like that's like when the people like got out work and everything like that. So they can actually do some games. And so like it's always after the tournament. It's like 9 or 10 p.m. And then like most of the participants, like especially the regular ones, were just like, hey, we're just gonna go down to McDonald's down there, and like you're coming with us and stuff like that. I did it once, and I literally never talk in like the dinner and stuff like that. I just listen to them and like yeah. So, oh well, I'm just too antisocial, I guess.
Nah, it's just you're not used to that yet. But I guess I do have like friends like I do talk to them, but I don't really talk to them outside of events. So like if it's during the events, then
literally, yeah. It's like how in Battle Spirits Heroes, the anime, like you're just gonna have Hajime just seeing Takamaru all the time, but like you don't see them hang out outside the car shop. Like that's literally the same thing in real life. And yeah, so like you see the people, but you only see them during the games. And like if you go match up to them, they're just like, you again. And it's like, yeah, whatever, Playboy 69, they like to just put up some random names, on like the participant list. I mean, I just call myself Ayumu, but like the other guys, like a lot of them change the names all the time. Like you literally have people saying their names is literally this deck is good. That's the name. And then like the shopkeeper is like, okay, so here's the matchup right here, and Mr. This deck is good. Can you please go play with Mr. I'm the weakest player here.
Oh my god, that has went beyond the teenage forum handle to like, okay, so I need to write something and I only have 3 seconds to decide.
Yeah, and when you match up to like a regular player, and there's like, you again. It's like, yeah, this is you again. Like, you played that deck again. It's like, yeah, I am. I remember all the cards in your deck. I'm not gonna get fooled again. And then he did.
And then he got
just like, yeah, just like I activate a summon effect. That's Sakatana Bear, isn't it? It's like, yeah, it is. Boom away your Nessus, please. Like,
okay. Fuck. I'm going to walk into your trap and I will like it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Things like that happen. It's pretty fun. It's like when you goof around, it's always pretty fun, really.
Yeah, I know. Before I was able to play like good, like my first events are Yu-Gi-Oh, and then I never won because I at that time was like a really huge whip, and then I only built deck like, okay, so I wanted to build this deck, and then I will only use like cards that is related to this deck. I don't really use like the general good cards, also because the supply is really limited and I cannot get them. Even if I want, if I have the, even if I have the money, we cannot really get the cards either. and I was like 15, I guess, at the time. So it's also kind of hard to get the cards outside of our locals. And then I ever won, and then I went to Vanguard, and then we have like 4-people events.
Damn,
And then
4 people is actually very sad.
Hmm.
No, actually, have you heard of like the you know Gates ruler, don't you? I think whoever tuned in this already heard about it. But like anyway, like I heard that like there's like they had their like first national tournament or something like that, and then only one person turned up. And yeah, and then like the organizers said that okay, if you pay this amount of money, you can just get all the prizes. He's like, nah, shit, I'm here to play. And so like he just played some games with the creator. I can't remember his name, Ikedo or something like that.
I get you.
That's forever an incident in trading card game history. Like it won't be forgotten. It's just too hilarious, man.
Exactly.
Oh well.
Oh well.
What can I do?
What can we do? Oh, well, anyway, for Vanguard, local events are also going back to my local. Let's say finally I can meet people, because last time I think I came for Spring Fest and all the German locals already forgot my face.
Oh well, it happens. Yeah, like surprisingly, my locals still remember me because we have a Wise Wars community, but like it's like pretty small, like 20 people at most, I would say. And when COVID came, and then I went back to Hong Kong, and then I came back for my second year of university. But because COVID was still on, so like in-person events, like all of them were gone. Until like a few months ago, I went to the usual car shop where I saw like the Wise Wars players, like they were all gone. And then like for a long time, I didn't know where they were. But this one time, I was like asking one of the staff member in like the car shops, like, do you know like they still have Wise Wars events around? And then like the staff was like, oh, I think I saw some of them in this other coffee shop, which I haven't heard before, 30 minutes away from here. Like maybe you can try checking that out. So I did, and I met them. Hey, I finally found them after like 3 years or something like that. And then like they didn't really recognize me, but like some of them did look at me. It's like, have I met you before? And I said, yes, you did.
For me, because probably I only met them once before the corona. Like I met them
Yeah.
literally once, like one event, and then no, we cannot held any more events because of this current situation. Then see you guys, see you guys in 10 years.
That makes sense then. Yeah, because I did went to some of the events before COVID hit, and even then, I think I was the only Asian among them. So like they could probably remember me very well, just being like, an Asian with black hair and stuff like that. So yeah, and good times. At least I can play with them again.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that we can finally have the offline events back. I hope after Battle Spirit Saga, we can also do offline events for Battle Spirits as well. Or at least now that the travel restriction is being lifted everywhere, probably, hopefully, somewhere between this year and next year, hopefully we can gather somewhere with all the Battle Spirits player in Europe and just play Battle Spirits together. If we can make a competition out of it, all the better. If not, then we just gather there, play Battle Spirits, and then eat dinner together.
Yeah, that would be nice because like if you've been to like the online events, then you will see like there's a really huge difference to going in offline events. Like obviously you can still play the games. Like there's no problem there, even though some people complain that like cheating might be easier because like you can just hide your hand off the camera stuff. Not surprising because like people are toxic. Yeah, I mean generally if you like a small community like 10 or 12 people for one tournament, usually that's not a problem. People still have their good hearts, like there's still humanity, okay. But the main problem is actually you don't actually see each other, and like there isn't this awkwardness that you would have when you're actually with someone physically, because like outside of playing the games, you don't really talk to each other. Like literally the too many times when I just like sit in front of my Discord, and then what is it like? We're just like sitting there, completely silent, hands on our table, and it's like, oh, it's time. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, I'm going first. And then like stuff like that. But like like when you're meeting someone in person, pushing like your already friends thing aside, at the very least, there's always like the awkwardness. That like you just can't be silent when you're with someone. So like that would create some conversations, and like that's what create the mood. That's what create the vibe that we just talked a few minutes ago. So yeah, I think like that's the biggest difference. And I just hope that like kind of this culture wouldn't change, because now that I'm into like trading card games a bit more, it doesn't seem to be a culture just dying off, which is a good thing. Like even if a game like goes away quickly, the community in general, there's still a good amount of people willing to like just like start new games and play some new cards. Then I see things like Hearthstone and like Shadowverse. Like I mean, those are pretty good games to play. I mean, I play both of them. But then like I always had this fear that like when technology advances, like people would just like stick to being online and like just like eventually like card games will all just like turn digital. And that would just like remove the most important aspect of playing a card game, which is like literally talking to each other. I'm just hoping that won't be lost. Seems like it'll be fine for a while, because with how the current technology is, very hard to really make a complicated card game. BS is already a very good example. Like they try to release a Switch game and they still haven't fixed all the bugs nowadays. Like they released, when did they release the game again? I think it was June, or was it July?
April.
Oh no, it was May. It was May.
Oh, it's May. Oh, I got.
Or was it April?
Oh wait.
It's around that time, and they still haven't fixed all the bugs now. Still haven't fixed all the bugs now. For God's sake. It's a good thing. Like the creators don't really limit their creativity, and like they choose to release a physical card game so that they can make things more complicated, which in turns make the game more fun. So yeah, hopefully they can keep up with that, and I appreciate that. And if like people release like new card games, I'll be willing to try it. Well, I will still look at the artwork first. So if I don't like it, I probably won't try it. But if you back me to, which probably no one will back me to, I will try it nonetheless for the gameplay. So yeah.
All right then. I guess it's almost end of the refresh step. So let's move to the untap step. And now we're in the untap phase where we will trade questions from you guys. So I spell it as untap step just now, but yeah. Anyway, we are now in the untap phase. I need to improve that in the future. So Ayumu, what do you have in the question deck now?
So we have this one question, which is a very long one. The person's called Jambin, which we can just call him Bin. So he's from Malaysia, and he's just started watching recently the Battle Spirit series. So his interest in the game has grown, and his question is about some decks. So he's building a Mugen deck, and his brother is building a Lampo deck. And they usually like to keep the deck closer to the key finishers of the decks and like the support, rather than splashing a lot of generic cards into it, which are usually also expensive staples. So he wants to incorporate the Incarnate Ultimates alongside Mugen Dragon, the Trinity Star, into his own deck, the Mugen deck, but he's worried that it might get bloated, and then his brother is also having difficulty with consistent card draw in his Lampo deck. So he's just asking if like for some suggestions on trying to improve their decks. Like, is it all right to put the ultimates into the Mugen deck, and also how to fix the card draw problem for Lampo? So, what's your comment on this, Theo?
Okay, so basically, I agree with you that it will probably bloat the deck, because with how the Mugen Dragon Trinity works, you would want more spirits inside. The deck itself is already have all the pieces it needed to get the draws ready. So it's like, yeah, I am a really vanilla guy, so I would really want to keep it that way. Probably kind of just sleeve them all into the same sleeve, so you can just use them interchangeably. Like when you want to play with the Ultimates more, you just play with the Ultimates more. And you want to play with Mugen Dragon Trinity, then probably you can splash the Trinity into the ultimate version, but not the other way around. But for the Rampo, I think probably you can try counter.
Well, for the Mugen deck, for me, I would say literally don't mix them together. Actually, if you want to put the ultimates into Mugen deck, I'll give you maybe 1 copy max each into the deck. But like the thing is, like as Theo said, like Trinity Star does rely on a lot of pre-FN cards, and most of them are spirits. So like when you create the deck, like there already isn't really any space for your other ultimates. And you also have to add in the fact that like with Mugen Trinity, it's not just a red deck. It also has blue and yellow because of Dryan and Chocodra. So that you won't always have the reduction symbols for the ultimates, which is already pretty expensive in terms of the cost, because like they cost 7 and cost 8. They kind of share the same card pool, so like the support for Trinity Star, if you like try to use them into the ultimate deck, that would also work. But if we talk about the optimal version of like the ultimate decks, then you will need way older supports from like 8 years ago. That's still a pretty long time ago, and they never got any reprints, so it's gonna be really tough to find. Just to give some examples, probably it's a must in the deck, which is called Rumen Sky Sword. It's a cost 1 spirit with 1 reduction, 1 red reduction. It has a spirit soul effect, but most importantly, it has an on summon, open free, and add any Tri-Dragon deity into your hand. It's literally a 1 cost search card for like some of the strongest ultimates in this game. That is very crazy. And like there's also Galaxy, Reborn, Nessus, or whatever that was called. You just literally type in the Tri-Dragon deity keyword and they will show it up. So basically the Nessus effect, what it does is that on deploy, during this turn, all your Tri-Dragon deity ultimate cards in your hand, the card cost is the same as your life. So if your life is at 1, that means all your Tri-Dragon deity ultimate cards will be at cost 1, including reduction. So it can be 0 cost too. So yeah, they did have some crazy supports, but like that was like from way back then. So like if you insist on building an ultimate deck with them, glow deck, honestly. With the J Thunder deck, I'm actually a bit surprised that like you're still struggling with like the draw consistency, considering that like they did put a lot of draw cards in for J Thunder. They had Jira, that's how I call it, like the moose. And then like there's also the magic card called Increase. Both of them have draw effects, and if you match them both, there's 6 draw cards for the deck, and I think that's already quite a lot for a green deck. But like if you still want more consistency, then unfortunately, you do have to look at the other kinds of supports outside of like Jade Thunder. The most generic example I can come up with is Tepon and the Fushi. There you go. Yeah, which is a very good brave card. On summon, discard your hand and like draw the same amount as the opposing hand. Add 3 copies of it, and then like you got like 9 copies in deck that can actually draw, and like that's plenty for green. I would say. I think Jade Thunder, like they're focused on spamming the game early and like ending the game quickly. So I don't really think having that many draw cards would benefit the decks that much, because like if you're being slow, then you might also have a problem facing your opponent. So instead of draw consistency, like obviously because I don't know what your deck list is like, but maybe you can also look into putting more, for example, lower cost cards, so that you can like summon or deploying something more like on your early turns. That would help. And then like also don't forget about a Clear Tiger, which allows you to summon more cards from your deck without paying the cost. It helps you with like spamming the board and stuff like that. When BS61 comes out, you might also want to look at some of the green cards, because like they probably will help with Lampo as well, even though they might have been designed for Gatalu. I mean, as long as they're all Jade Thunder, they should be able to do something one way or another. But yeah, that's my answer, which is very long.
Okay. So yeah, Bin, hope that will answer your question. If you are still unsure about what to do feel free to send more questions to us in the question deck. So yeah, if you guys want to ask us about TCG, living abroad, or just life in general, we might not be able to answer everything, but you are welcome to send us your questions in the form in the description below. Okay. The time is ripe, Ayumu. The time is ripe. I think it's time for us to get out of our couches and go to the local. So thank you everyone for listening for today. That is all for today. We hope that you guys had a nice week going forward, and we will see you guys again in the next turn. Bye bye.
Bye bye.